Hello everyone, and today we've got Ayla Majid with us. She is our Senior Counsel member at ACCA, and I am really excited to finally host Ayla today. Thank you, Ayla, for being with us, and I will let you tell everybody about yourself. So let's start with a little bit of an introduction. So who is Ayla?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hamad. I'm really happy to be here. Work-wise and my association with the ACCA, I'm MD Khalid Majid Rehman, and with the ACCA, I'm presently member of the Global Council, as well as for this year, I'm one of the board members of the
Wow.
newly set up a board of ACCA. Yeah.
That's about what Ayla as a sort of, as a professional is, but we would like to take you back into time perhaps, right? And we would like to get to know Ayla when Ayla was at school and college, her university days, her life, her friends, and we want you to really share your life with us today, and that's why we are here. So where did you grow up, Ayla?
So, I'll first share with how I feel now, and then I'll sort of relate it to all my experiences and where I have been. So I feel I'm truly a global citizen with a Pakistani passport.
Wow.
And so I grew up in Rawalpindi. This is where I was born.
Okay.
I went to school there. I went to an all-girls school, Presentation Convent.
Oh, wow.
Then post that, I studied for 4 years in a federal government college.
That's the one in Lal Kurti.
The convent school?
The convent
yes,
school, yeah.
exactly,
Okay.
yeah, Presentation Convent, yeah,
okay.
It's a very old school.
Yeah, I know, I'm
and I
familiar
spent
with that.
10 years there.
Wow,
and
mashallah.
I was one of the most remarkable experiences of my life that really shaped
I'm sure,
me.
yeah.
And I still love my school. I think it was absolutely exceptional. The friends that I made, my teachers, the nuns, the principals.
Are you still in touch
etc.
with your friends from Presentation
So yes, I am. Obviously, people. A lot of them are sort of in different parts of the world. They are doing their own thing. Even here in Pakistan, everybody is busy with their lives. But all of that has really shaped me. So I often say that we all are product of our own experiences. So obviously it was a huge part of my experience. So in many sense, in terms of sort of getting to know people, making friends, learning, school, spending time with teachers, being at times not so responsible, which was also very interesting in some ways. I wasn't, I mean, there were times when my teachers would say that you're very intelligent, but you're not very responsible. And I used to be completely, for some reason, okay with that.
That's a bit of a shocker for us, you not being responsible.
Yeah, so my teachers would tell me that. I mean, it wasn't in studies actually, so it was a good things. I was getting good grades, but I would never sort of kill myself and sort of spend immense hours just sort of studying. I had so many diverse interests. I wanted to play sports, I wanted to listen to music, I wanted to spend time with friends. So with all of that, obviously, then my academics had some part of my time. Not all.
On that note, Ayla, I mean, I know growing up in a place like Rawalpindi, it is perhaps it is very exciting. I grew up in Rawalpindi, that's why I can sort of relate to it. So I probably had the best childhood that I can remember, and I wouldn't change it, at all. So, Pindi के बारे में कुछ बताएं, Pindi boys के बारे में कुछ बता दें. What was your childhood like growing up in Pindi?
So I'm one of the 4 siblings. So I have 2 sisters. So being a part of one of my sisters, she was much older, but the sister who was immediately older to me, she and I, we sort of were 3 years apart, so we were going to the same school, and my mother was like, although we could sort of do a lot of stuff, my mother was like, she would always make sure that she would take us to different places herself. She would drop us to school, and she would pick us herself. So it was rather a little bit protected environment as well.
One thing that I have observed really, that back in those days we as kids had much more freedom as opposed to now. अब तो बच्चों को कहीं कोई घर के बाहर साइकिलिंग भी नहीं करने देता. और मुझे तो याद है from my house through your presentation convent I used to go towards to see my friends in Lal Azhar, and I was hardly 12-13 years old. But times, do you think they've changed? अब तो ज़्यादा वो नहीं थोड़ा secure सा हो गया बच्चों के लिए.
In terms of safety, of course, back then it was safety भी थी, and obviously the people were sort of much less in number, so everybody kind of practically knew each other. So you couldn't even get away with doing something wrong.
That's right.
So this is like when I was 12, I started driving, and I would sneak the car out, and I would drive, and some.
So where would you go?
Some auntie.
So where would Ayla go back in those days?
Some uncle or some family friend's son, he would see and report to home that this is what. So I saw your daughter driving. She's underage and she's driving, and you couldn't sort of get away with that. So it was actually very, very nice. This is the time when there used to be concerts taking place.
I remember.
And you would sort of go there, but again, it was just like to give
fun fairs होते थे.
Fun fairs होते थे, concerts होते थे, सब कुछ माहौल बहुत अच्छा था. It was really, really nice, and people were very respectful to each other. Obviously, people would sort of have fun also. वो जो typical teenagers वाला होता है, वो सारी चीजें भी थी, but it was I would say it was the environment was extremely decent, and people were very respectful to each other. अगर किसी का कोई joke भी होता था या कोई ऐसी चीजें भी होती थी, तो they would be within bounds, and it was like an unsaid thing. You sort of just respect people, and you do things in a certain way that you are coming from these families, or you respect the environment, etc. Everybody knows. So वो एक चीजें होती हैं.
Those were beautiful days to grow up. I mean, and nobody used to come to Islamabad for entertainment. I think we had it all back over there in Rawalpindi. It was so.
We had a full life.
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely, for sure. So then you were at presentation convent, और उसके बाद फिर then what did you do?
Yeah, so then after that I went to federal government college, and I studied pre-engineering.
Really?
And the reason was that there was a little phase in my life when I wanted to be an architect. And because of it just fascinated me, created stuff.
Any regrets now?
Creative stuff. Sorry.
Any regrets now?
Not really, actually. And I mean, I didn't kind of sort of stop changing my mind right there, because I studied pre-engineering, and then I sort of thought of going to National College of Arts in Lahore. But then, I mean, at 17-year-old, my parents were definitely, especially my mother, didn't think it was a very good idea, and I never pushed for that, honestly, because maybe I wasn't 100% sure as well.
But I can picture you as one of the top leading architects of Pakistan, and coming up with these really interesting designs. And
so design is a very important part of my life, so I still do like to bring design in different things. So aesthetically things have to look nice, they cannot be boring.
So you are a creative.
Yes, I'm very much creative, and I sort of like to bring that in the thinking process of the work that I do as well. I don't view things from a single lens, and I like to see that how can we sort of bring in different elements, different thought processes into work, whether it's a very serious piece of work as well. You can we have the leverage, we have the liberty to sort of make it a little interesting as well.
Yeah, of course.
So anyway, going back to those days, college, and I saw like a lot of my friends who I grew up with, they were going to pursue medical careers. We used to be in the same college. They were studying pre-med, and a lot of them were then getting admission into medical colleges. So मुझे अचानक से ख्याल आया कि मुझे तो डॉक्टर बनना है. So I think back, I'm not sure कि उस वक्त फ्राइडे को छुट्टी होती थी या संडे को छुट्टी होती थी. So खैर, I was like a holiday, early morning. I went into my parents' room, and I put my head down, and I was like, maybe I was really sad, but now I think maybe I wasn't. So and my parents said, what's wrong? And I said, I want to be a doctor. And they said, to doctor ban jao.
Wow.
So anyway, so what I did was, because I had done the pre-engineering exams, so the only thing that I had to probably study was biology. So I separately took those exams, the practicals, etc. So I did pre-med as well.
Oh, wow.
But तब तक वो डॉक्टर बनने का भी वो diminish हो गया. Then I realized I didn't want to be a doctor. I wasn't very sure what I wanted to do, so I relaxed for like a while. And then suddenly I realized, and my mother sort of gave it to me, and she said that, are you not going to apply for your bachelor's?
Yeah.
And I said yes. I went to the college and the deadline had passed to submit the form.
Oh, wow.
But because I had gone to the same college and I was doing pretty fine there, so they were sort of fine. They said, all right, we can accept your application. Having no clue which path to really pursue, because I was very good in maths. So I decided to study maths, stats and physics.
Okay.
And वहाँ पे फिर I realized it was a very tough combination of subjects. And then because a lot of my friends sort of had gone their own way, there were very few people that I could relate to that in college. So I didn't study much then.
Wow.
It was just like a lot of time not studying seriously. And that had a little bit of adverse effect on my grades as well.
Okay.
In BSc. But again, it wasn't something that I really sort of let myself be pushed down because of that. I remember when I applied for LUMS, and in my interview, one of the first questions that they asked me, the faculty members, and those were like probably the best professors in the country, very senior, remarkable people. And one of the first questions I was asked was that we see like your grades going like this and then there's a dip. And my response was like, those grades don't do justice to my potential.
Wow.
And I think that's sort of probably they liked that honest response, and they said, all right, fine. And I got it.
That was a great response, by the way.
Yeah, because I was honest about it. I said, yes, I haven't done well in my undergrad, but that doesn't do justice with my potential.
Exactly.
And it was because of many dynamics, because I wasn't very happy in that little time. But that didn't dampen sort of. So
finance कहाँ पे आया आपकी ज़िंदगी में? You know, engineering, architecture, medicine. You've been good in maths, and that probably led to finance. Or is there a story? So
there isn't much of a story actually, but yes, LUMS, as we know, it's a great school.
Of course.
So. My mother had recommended that why do you not apply for your MBA? And I said, yes, great, let me apply for my MBA. So when I got admission at LUMS, when my MBA admission sort of letter came home, and because I come from a family where no girl had sort of really pursued her career in that manner, because my cousins, my older sisters, etc., most of them sort of had gotten married rather at an early age.
So out of all your siblings, you're the only person who's, who's working in the professional sort of.
So one of my other sisters is now, but it wasn't like immediately sort of right after sort of when she studied, etc. So when I got my LUMS letter, my mother said, no, you can't go and live on your own.
And LUMS.
So and I didn't sort of even challenge. There was just probably little time that my parents, I'm sure उन्होंने आपस में बातचीत की कि ठीक है जाने दो. तो खैर I went there, and I think it was again an exceptional experience, living away from home and just being in that environment, which is very challenging, tough in terms of academics, in terms of performance, in terms of sort of. And my earlier experience of having multiple diverse interests, being an all-rounder, that definitely helped. But I had to become a little bit more, for the lack of a better word, a little bit more aggressive. I mean,
in your studies, because you have to.
Exactly.
It's very competitive, and it's
it is very competitive.
you need to keep up with.
And what I really liked was that it wasn't all about the final assessment. It was about what you do every day. So it was. So I actually practically very seriously worked hard at LUMS. I did my MBA from LUMS.
And so where does finance?
So
you were MBA finance.
So back then, it wasn't, LUMS didn't sort of have these categorizations. So MBA had to be finance, and MBA had to be a bit of HR, marketing, etc. But I sort of chose more for the optional subjects. I chose more finance, and one of the reasons was because some of the finance courses were very tough. And I always like to sort of give myself challenges. I thrive on challenges, and people would tell me, do not take this particular course because it is very tough, and I would say, okay, if somebody else can do it, why not?
Yes, you took it as a challenge.
So I took it as a challenge.
Excellent.
So I studied that, and I mean, it was honestly very, very tough. And even my professors at that point in time, one of my professors, a very nice gentleman, he passed away some years ago, Professor Sipra, he would say that what you're studying now, you'll probably not be using it, at least in Pakistan, for the next couple of years, and that's how it was. But I still wanted to do it because it just sort of, our brain works like a muscle. So it's like, अगर हम जितना अपने आप को challenge करेंगे, उतना हम absorb करेंगे, उतना हम सीखेंगे.
Very true.
So so that's how it was, and then naturally, just sort of the kind of work opportunities that I got. But all I want to say is that nothing was planned. Neither my
nothing usually
career,
is actually
neither my career nor my sort of choices to study something. It was just like over the course of time, I sort of looked at various challenges, things that interested me.
How did ACCA come into the picture?
So that's an interesting one. So my first job was working for a large conglomerate, 4G Foundation, and they have lots of welfare and lots of commercial projects across various industries, fertilizer, cement. Back then they used to have cement, oil terminals, power, etc. Large portfolio. And in early 2000s, a lot of that portfolio had to be restructured. So I was very lucky to get that experience. So I got down into working that, fixing cement projects. Some had financial problems, some had technical problems, fertilizer, etc. Many things. So in that process, I would be dealing with a lot of lawyers and a lot of accountants. And I felt that there is a bridge. Either I'm not getting through to them or I'm not understanding them.
Through to the accountants and the lawyers?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I said this bridge really needs to be sort of this gap really needs to be mended. So I wanted to study accounting and strengthen my skills in that. And at that point in time, it was my mother who recommended again, because she had learned from somebody that ACCA is something new. Although my mother is a housewife, but mashallah, very wise.
So she encouraged you to...
She encouraged me.
So it was your mother who encouraged you to study ACCA?
Yeah, she did.
And how did she know about ACCA?
She got to know about this from probably some friends or some of my father's friends, etc. Somebody that she...
Because your father is obviously in the...
My father is a chartered accountant as well, yes.
Of course.
Yeah, so... So I researched and I looked and it sort of worked really well because I was working, I could not be a full-time student.
Okay.
So I applied for ACCA and I started taking exams
So was it something to do with, like, for example, like my father, I come from a military, sort of, he has a military background in my family, so I wanted to go and join the army, but unfortunately I couldn't. So was it something like that? Did you feel कि नहीं यार, my father is a professional accountant and I should also pursue this, or was it different for you?
मेरे father ने कभी भी pressurized नहीं किया. मेरी family में
But still थोड़ा was there a sense of pride?
Obviously, sense of pride, definitely.
Of course,
definitely, that is.
And I'm sure it must have made your father really happy as well.
It did actually. When I qualified and when I sort of got that certificate, it made him so happy that I'm a qualified accountant. So it really made them.
So your brother is also
my
a
brother is also
right?
he's
and
a chartered accountant
yeah.
and he's based in UK. He works with Deloitte and he's mashallah doing very.
So it's just you two out of the 4 siblings?
No, actually, one of my other sisters as well. She
really?
studied ACCA as well.
Acha! Oh wow, we didn't know that.
She studied bachelor's in business and IT.
Okay.
And then sometime after that, she also took ACCA exam.
Oh wow!
So yes, she's an ACCA member as well.
Oh, so three in the family.
3 in the family, including my father. 4 of us, we are accountants.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah. So it was accounting, and then I also wanted to study law as well. So I studied law as well.
You're a lawyer as well?
I'm a lawyer as well. I hold a law degree from University of London. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So, because with lawyers, my concern was that lawyers are not thinking out of the box. They're not being creative. They're confining themselves only to within the bounds of the law. Obviously, we need to stay within the bounds of the law, but you need to use that understanding to create solutions. So that's.
So how long?
I think
all this happened post LUMS?
This happened post LUMS.
So how long were you studying after LUMS?
So
I mean, doing your MBA.
Yeah.
And then
so my MBA was 2000, and then I qualified. I became an ACCA member because obviously I was working, so that work period sort of counted. It was,
and you must have gotten some exemptions as well.
So 2006. And then I think law I completed in 2008.
Wow. Wow. And then you started, but you were working alongside.
I never took time off.
Yeah.
I never took time off. Fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't have the liberty to go attend a college or a school for this. So I studied on my own, which was actually a lot of fun as well. So what I would do is that I wouldn't recommend it to people who do have time to sort of take time off and just study. But जो अपना काम कर रहे हैं उनके लिए you can still manage to do it. Like मेरे केस में यह था, I would just lock myself for a couple of days before every exam.
That's your secret to success.
Yeah, I would just study. I would just sort of make sure that I'm just giving it full attention.
There is no easy way. Hard work always sort of pays off. You just mentioned Davos and the World Economic Forum, and you were there a couple of weeks ago. So how does it feel to represent your country at one of the most prestigious forums we have on the planet? How did it go, and what were you doing there? We would really like to know.
So it was an exceptional experience. You asked me how I feel. I feel very lucky, honestly. It's something again I could not have planned for, and I feel absolutely honored, and I feel so lucky to be representing my country and also getting the opportunity to experience that and representing Pakistan, representing my work, my fraternity, my gender, sort of doing all that. So it is really nice. So I've been associated with the World Economic Forum now for a couple of years.
Wonderful.
I was nominated as a Young Global Leader in 2015.
Lovely.
Again, that was it's been a huge honor, and again, that's something that I could not have predicted. And through that sort of network, I've had some amazing opportunities to meet remarkable people all over the world, visit different places, share ideas and thoughts with people. And at the end of the day, wherever we might be, it is so important to sort of connect with people in a very human and a very authentic way. And this I've learned from many global leaders as well. And I think it's so important that you have trust and authenticity. And I think this is something that we need to promote more than anything. And in my recent experience in Davos was also this. No matter where people had come from, and they were all very sort of important, remarkable people with huge achievements,
of course.
and whether it was people in politics, political leadership, whether it's business, whether it's media, or anywhere.
So
this is, I think, my single biggest takeaway. Obviously, there were many takeaways, but the single biggest takeaway would be that it is so important to build trust, and it is so important to be authentic.
No, that's truly great. So, well, thank you very much, Ayla. It has been absolutely a pleasure having you here with us today.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you.